The band started in Bondi, weirdly enough. A girl who I really liked had an open mic night down in Bondi. So yeah, we ended up getting a slot, and we played like 4 songs, I think, and then it went really good, and people liked it, and it just kind of went from there. We got another slot a couple of weeks later, and twice as many people came, and then that happened, you know, 4 or 5 times. And it was kind of just rolling, and consecutively we started playing shows up on the beaches. You know, we'd jack open the power box at this skate bowl at Avalon and plug in and play in the afternoon when everyone was skating. Matty Wu, who manages us now, used to run a cafe there, and we set up on the balcony upstairs, and everyone would come by with beers after surfing all day, and we just play. And that whole one summer was all that kind of stuff. So it was like, go to Bondi and play these shows and play at Avalon, and no money, you know, we just did it for nothing. And I'd planned to go back to New York, and we just went on tour pretty much because it started getting played on the radio, and all the shows kind of sold out from the start, and that was it. It was all accidental. I got to go back to New York in the way that I planned, and then we just kind of, like, every opportunity that happened, we just tried to do our best, you know. We were a pretty crappy band back then. We were just more interested in surfing and picking up girls and whatever, but, you know, eventually got alright. Yeah, well, the whole going overseas and playing there as a band pretty much as early as we could stemmed from me being in New York to begin with. You know, I always thought, because I was playing over there by myself and it was great, you know, people were digging it and it was really a fun experience, and it kind of made me aware that you didn't have to confine yourself to the one spot where the band began. You know, you could go play music anywhere and people could like it, you know. And so I had a kind of that lit a fire that I just wanted to go back, and we toured the States first, and then we did that a few times, and then Japan and Europe, and a few years later Brazil.
Won't be no lonely days, not anymore. Keep singing.
I feel good about doing what I do and playing music, and you know, I feel like it's putting some kind of worth and positivity into the world. So for that, there has to be some kind of sacrifice. And now I'm reconciling it with having a family. I try and balance out the time and don't do any like super long stretches, and just feel like, you know, I'm doing something that my family and my son and my friends can all be proud of.
It's a waiting chance and true romance, and stay way too young to go.
Probably you know, I think all of us have had a turn, but probably the worst traits being, you know, running how we run and being independent and having small crews and doing it. Packing up your own stuff is so important. You got to pack it up and put it in the van, and we've all gone through periods where we don't pack up. So if there'll be a guy who will like have a week straight of just chasing girls and not packing up his own shit, by the end people are ready to strangle him, you know. Yeah, like the amazing thing is like how many good people we've gotten to play with. It's pretty ridiculous. When I wrote a list out the other day, and it was just like, what? The first kind of one that I really looked up to that we got to play with was G Love and Special Sauce, and that was, as a band and a rootsy kind of, you know, G Love was mixing hip hop and blues, and you know, Bob Dylan and Eric B and Rakim smashed together since he was 20 years old, you know, busking on the streets. And we played with Jack Johnson the first time he came out, and that was, you know, the whole people that he had around him even from the start was pretty inspiring, you know, the crew and the sound guy and all that stuff. One of my pivotal, most important tours that I've done is the first solo tour I've ever done, standing on stage solo with John Butler in the States, and just watching those guys every night, just the trio just ruling, you know, in huge iconic venues over there, and it's doing such a good job and just representing Australia so well, you know, like so honestly and so no smoke and mirrors, nothing, like minimal light show, and just getting on there and just ripping, you know, and the way that he interacted and the way that he treated his fans, and was pretty special. And the other one was I got to tour with Chris Cornell, who was a giant, probably the biggest influence of any person that I've toured with, as far as, you know, making me want to be a singer. My favourite is Love Come Save Me, because it's similar in the fact that it's like had a pretty solid set of rules to it. You know, it was only a certain instrumentation that I wanted on the record, and I wanted it pretty stripped back and in the same headspace as Learn Yourself, and just giving it away free was my favourite thing I've ever done in music. For me, it's just a name that I've used to put my music out under, and been fortunate enough to have a bunch of people that I respect and love dearly come and play those songs with me. And in that regard, it doesn't mean that much, because now I just feel like releasing music under my own name, and I feel like it's the more honest, direct representation of where the music comes from and how it's made. And I feel best about making music in that way and touring. I didn't feel like using a pseudonym anymore. So in that regard, not much, doesn't mean much, and I don't think it can break up, because it's me just putting those 3 words to the side, keeping all the music and just revealing my name. It's like pulling the curtain back, you know. So, well, myself, I've turned down major label offers from every major record label in Australia, and, you know, decent offers, and offers that were, you know, required a bit of thinking about, but in the end it's just not worth it, you know, because nowadays, particularly when you aim for a mainstream kind of thing, which those major labels do, they try to take 2 of the 3 dimensions away, and they try and present you as a one-dimensional thing, and they pick out an angle to sell you. You know, they pick out a thing about you to sell you to people. So they would pick us and say, these guys are surfers, and probably get us to sit around the campfire with our surfboards across our laps in a film clip, and just do all stuff that wasn't honest, you know. And I am who I am, and all of us are who we are, and we just like music, and we want to sing songs that mean stuff to us and our friends and have some kind of honesty and musical relevance. And I sometimes think, well, more than often, major record labels just sand that away.
One day I looked up.
The level of gratitude I have for everybody that's allowed that to happen is too immense to even verbalise. But yeah, it would be nice if everybody knew how much it meant, you know, and it means more than anything to me that people want to listen and support it. And in that spirit, it's you know, there's still a very strong family connected vibe amongst everybody that's been a part of it, and it's still going to continue on with the same spirit and the same way we've always done it, independently, and just trying to go and share music and share love and spread love, you know. And it's just going to be under my name. Just Mat McHugh, and the band will be called the Seperatista Soundsystem, and we're going to play all the songs that we've ever played, and, you know, millions more, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully see everybody there.
Can you finish off with reenacting that girl that did that choreographed dance?
No.
Sorry, thanks.
I've been waiting all my life, waiting for a miracle. I've been waiting day and night, day and night. I've been waiting all my life.